Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. Today, if you're not aware, a very important gun rights case is being argued in front of the Supreme Court. It is the case from New York City where some people applied for a carry permit and they were told they don't qualify for one because they don't have a special need. They can't show that they're in specific danger that they would need to be able to defend themselves outside their home. And that is being argued in front of the Supreme Court. Now, hopefully they'll argue this better than Texas is arguing their case without throwing our rights under the bus. But I don't know what has been said so far because I am filming this the night before actually. It's 2:30 a.m. on the day that they'll be hearing this. But I did want to address a couple of issues here. There are some people that have sent me emails kind of panicky because, oh my God, I heard that the Supreme Court changed the question. And even if we get a victory here, it's not going to mean much because they changed the question. And a lot of people have read an article by this Aaron Tang. I had to write his name down here. Now, Aaron Tang is a far leftist law professor in California. He was a clerk for Sotomayor. So that should tell you where he's at politically. And he wrote this long little article about how, this is because they changed that wording. That means it's not going to give really much of a victory to the gun people and blah, blah, blah. And he did some real general mental gymnastics to try to explain why. Well, they could rule in a way now that says that they can deny the right to some people that don't show cause, but blah, blah, blah. And I don't know how he got to it. And every person I've seen that actually did a rebuttal to that, they don't see how he got to that either. But I want to explain to people what the question originally was, what the question is now, what's being debated, and what it means for the gun community. At least to the best of my knowledge. And remember, I'm just an ordinary, everyday moron, basically. But means we should all understand each other. So the original question that was asked in this lawsuit, meaning when they put forward their paperwork to the Supreme Court to hear their case, to hear their appeal, they said their question was, does the government have the right to deny people the right to carry firearms outside their home for self-defense? Well, that's very vague. That's saying, hey, is the government have absolutely no power to stop absolutely anyone from carrying anything they want, any way they want, anywhere they want? Because like I said, it was a very vague, open question. And Supreme Court doesn't deal in things like that. When they think a question is too broad, they'll narrow it down because they like to rule on specifics. So they changed the question basically from, can the government stop anybody from carrying a gun outside their home for self-defense for any reason, to did the state of New York, by denying these individuals the right to carry a gun outside their home for self-defense, violate their constitutional rights? Now, that might seem a lot more narrow of an issue, and it is a more narrow issue, but it's still a very important one. Because here's what I feel is going to be the heart of this case. These people, one of them claimed to have just cause, to carry, they had special circumstances that New York requires. Another one says he doesn't, but he still wants a carry permit. Well, they're denied the carry permits, even the one who said he had reason, because, I forget what his reasons were, but the state said, yep, that's not good enough for us. So this case is determining whether New York, by determining they don't need a carry permit, is it violating their constitutional rights? I don't see any way that they could they could rule for it and say, yeah, the state has a right to deny you a carry permit. If that's the case, well, then the people that got put on the court recently, they all need to be withdrawn and then drawn and quartered, at least metaphorically. But because they're not true constitutionalists like they say they are. But if it goes the way we think it's going to go, and they rule that these guys should have been allowed to have carry permits, even the guy who doesn't have reason, if they say that the state of New York is violating people's rights by making them go through a litmus test, which is the crux of this trial now, is the New York state, is it denying them their rights by making them take extra steps and have to have special circumstances? And if they rule that that's yes, well, then that pretty much deletes the just cause thing or whatever it is. That would be saying, hey, the state doesn't have a right to deny someone a carry permit. Now, I think that the wording of this was carefully crafted by the Supreme Court because I think they knew how it was going to go, and the liberals didn't want to give constitutional carry to everyone everywhere, and I don't think the conservatives wanted to give constitutional carry to everyone everywhere. Don't fool yourself, because when this question came before, when they had enough conservatives to give this a hearing, they chose not to. It's after they changed the question to be more narrow that they chose to hear it. So I think what they've done is come to a compromise to where they're going to say, yes, if you live in a state and you're a law-abiding citizen and you're, whatever, you're not imprisoned and you're not, a felon, whatever, which I don't agree with the felon stuff, but I think this is where they're leading their opinion to where if you want a carry permit, you have to be given one. But by doing this and narrowing the question, they're basically saying, yes, everyone who goes down, applies for a permit, gets a background check, blah, 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 can have a carry permit, and states can't deny them that, which is a lot more narrow of a ruling than saying constitutional carry for everyone, which I don't think the liberals or the conservatives wanted on the Supreme Court, because they often say things like, well, we knew something was legally right, but the country wasn't ready for it yet. And I hate when they do that. When they're like, oh, it would be too many problems, even though it's constitutionally correct. The country's not ready for it. I don't like when they do that. They shouldn't care what the country's ready for. They should just care what's constitutional. They should care about what's constitutional. But like I said, they have narrowed it down. But still, in my opinion, we're looking at a victory here that's going to say any state that has these hoops you got to jump through to get a carry permit, California, New York, wherever, those hoops are going to have to go away if this case is won, because they're going to have to say, yes, these people who applied for a carry permit because they are not in any way legally denied a right to own a gun, then they have to be allowed to have a carry permit or you're violating their constitutional rights. I can't see any way they could rule other than that, other than, of course, to just rule against it completely. So what we're looking at is the potential to have all states be shall issue. There'd be no may issue states. And that would be great, because you got to remember, used to be hardly any states that even issued carry permits or allowed you to carry. And then it got to where there were a lot of states that, would give you permits. And then it got to where most states would give you permits. And then it got to where all states would give you permits, but some of them were may issue, some of them were shall issue. And now we're looking at taking a step to them all being shall issue. If this court case goes right for us, every single free citizen who's not a felon, and like I say, I don't agree with that, but that's the circumstances at the moment. I'd like to get rid of that. But every free citizen who's not a felon or denied their rights for other reasons, which I probably don't agree with those either, they would have to be allowed to have a carry permit. Because in the past, the courts have alluded to you either have to be able to carry open or concealed, one or the other. They've often said, well, we don't see that they have to offer you both, but you have to have one or the other. So in these states that don't have open carry, and they make you jump through hoops and have special conditions for you to get a carry permit, they're denying you your right. They're not giving you one or the other. They're not giving you either, really. And if this court says you have to have one, like they pretty much upheld in the past, it'll either be your state is either constitutional carry or shall issue, one or the other. And that is a huge victory. That would be one of the biggest victories we've had in a while. In fact, it would easily be the biggest victory in the last 10 years. So, no, it's not as broad as it could have been if they had said, yeah, states don't have a right to deny you in any way the ability to carry a gun for self-defense outside your homes. Well, that would have just got rid of all carry laws, period. Everywhere would be constitutional carry. They weren't ready to do that yet, but I think they are ready to take the next step and say everyone's going to be able to carry as long as you're legally allowed to own a gun. Whether it be open carry or concealed carry will be up to your state, but everyone will have that right and states won't be able to deny you. All right, everybody, I used up my time allotment on that first topic there, so I just want to add one thing here tonight. This is the month of November. I'm going to be starting up Toy Guns for Tots again here real soon. So if you want to donate to that, we'll be doing it very soon. Probably go start within the next couple of days. We'll run it all through the month of November, then buy the toys at the beginning of December and donate them just like we do every time. This will be our 4th year. The first year was a way bigger success than I ever imagined. We bought hundreds of toys for kids. The second year was even bigger. I mean, we just bought so many toys. We filled up like 10 shopping carts with toys the second year. And the third year, last year, I had to go rent a van, a large extended length moving van, and we filled it from floor to ceiling. We really did well last year. And if you're not familiar, Toy Guns for Tots is where we go out, we pretty much buy out a couple of stores on their toy guns, and we donate them to charities that provide toys for needy kids at Christmas time. Because most of these charities that do this on their own, like Salvation Army, blah, 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 they won't buy toy guns. If kids put down, I want a Nerf gun, they get, I don't know, a ballerina doll or something. Because they're like, we don't buy toy guns. But if you donate to them, they will give them away. They just won't buy them themselves with money you donate. So I came up with the idea, let's just come together and buy as many as we can. And like I said, last year, moving van stuffed to the gills. And I'm hoping to do even more this year. So I'm going to be starting that up again here pretty soon. So keep your eyes open, and we'll help bring a really Merry Christmas to a lot of kids out there, boys and girls who want Nerf guns, laser tag guns, cap guns, whatever kind of gun it is. We'll be having it. We'll be donating it. And believe me, these go a long way. It's not like, well, you're just doing that in your state. No, the company I give them to, the organization I give them to, they actually ship stuff to other states that have less donations. Because here in Oregon, we get a lot of donations. In Washington, a lot of donations. So they end up with a glut of toys, more toys than they would ever possibly need. So they don't just give every kid 6 toys here. What they do is they ship them to other places. The company I used last year shipped to Alabama, to Georgia, to Florida, to Montana, several other places. So these guns go all over the country. These toy guns go all over the country to kids who want them for Christmas. So keep your eyes open for that. We'll be doing year 4 of it here very soon, and hopefully it'll be the biggest year yet. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you come back again tomorrow. But until then, remember, always carry and stay safe until I see you again.